Hi, my name is Peter McDonald and I'm a Maximo consultant with Millennium Insights, and this training video is being created specifically for the Crown Resort Sydney. This video will demonstrate the phase of a work order life cycle from a status of waiting on approval through to in progress. In a previous video, you will have seen that a work order was created and an owner was assigned to the work order record and workflow was initiated. The first indication that a work order is pending action by the owner is via an email notification into your mail inbox. In addition, an alert appears in your Start Center in the Maximo inbox assignment portlet, indicating that there is a work order or a workflow record for your attention. If you click on that link, it will open up the work order tracking application and go to the record in question. Workflow is designed to route a work order record based on specific values on the record. For the purposes of this demonstration, we will intentionally leave those required fields blank, and I will explain each step with each step of the workflow. We will notice that the status of the work order is waiting on approval, and we notice here that the workflow assignment is to myself. Workflow initiation is via, or advancement is via, a route workflow icon button on the toolbar. Click that. The first prompt we see is for to notify the user that we're going to check for required details. At this point, the owner of the record has the ability to cancel the work order. They assess whether or not it is required. If it's not, they can cancel the work order or they can advance it into the next phase. We will leave the default and we'll just check for the required fields, required details. Click OK, and the first thing Maximo does will prompt you that a work group field requires a value. Click on the close button, scroll down to the bottom to the work group field. Now the work group field, when you select a work group, it will automatically populate the lead field with the default user designated in the work group. For the purposes of this demonstration, we'll select the value shift team. We see here that the user has been selected as TLEAD1. That's just a training user that we've created in the system. So we'll save that change and try and advance the workflow again. We're prompted for the next required value, which is the supervisor field here. So we'll close that record and start to type in the supervisor. So now we've got the supervisor 1 selected as the supervisor of the work. Save that entry, try and advance workflow again, and we find that it's successful. Now the user is prompted to approve the work order and assign the workflow to the supervisor, which is in this case is this test supervisor that we've created. They also have the opportunity to reassign the workflow to a service contractor or a day trade. We'll accept the default in this case and advance it through to the supervisor. We click OK. We see that the workflow has created assignments. If we scroll back up to the top here, and we see that the status has changed to approve. If we come over here to workflow and have a look at the workflow assignments, we now see that the supervisor 1 is assigned to the workflow. If I try and advance the workflow here, still logged in as myself, Maximo says there's nothing for me to do. So I click OK, and what we'll do is we'll log out and we'll log back in as the supervisor 1. So we're logged in as a supervisor 1, and we see that in the Start Center, their inbox and assignments, we see that the work order that we've just moved to them is there. Click on the link the same way, it'll open up the work order and the workflow. The supervisor now is responsible for initiating the work using the workflow button. Click on the workflow. The user straight away is prompted to review all of the work order details, ensure things like location and the work type are valid before advancing the work. Once they're happy with that, they'll advance it now and change it to in progress. Click on the workflow button again, and it advances to in progress. And creates a new assignment. If we have a look here at the workflow assignments, we now see that it's assigned to the team lead 1 that was defined when we selected the work group. That ends the demonstration.